Good evening, students. In this session, we will learn the concept of inverse of a matrix. You have studied probably in lower classes for every number, for every integer or every real number, we have what we call additive inverse and multiplicative inverse, isn't it? And before understanding the additive inverse and multiplicative inverse, you would have studied what is additive identity and multiplicative identity also, is it not? So in the case of multiplicative identity, we all know it is the number 1. For any real number x, the multiplicative identity. So x times 1 gives x. So we call this multiplicative identity. The reason why I am referring to a simple real number as x is the matrices as the general quantity, as every square matrix behaves like this real number only. It has its own multiplicative identity, which is I matrix. Any matrix, square matrix A, when multiplied by I gives A. That is the reason this matrix, I matrix, that is 1 0 0 1 if it is a 2 by 2, 1 0 0 0 1 0 0 0 1 if it is a 3 by 3. Okay. The reason why we named it identity matrix is because it is the multiplicative identity for any matrix, any square matrix. So square matrix multiplied by identity matrix gives the same matrix. So much in the same way, we can see multiplicative inverse also. So let us start defining what is this inverse. If there exists a matrix B for the matrix A in such a way AB, okay, commutes and becomes BA, and the product as such becomes identity matrix. So then the matrix B is called the inverse of the matrix A, and let me tell you, it is denoted by the letter A inverse. We pronounce it, it is read as A inverse. But students may be wondering, so why there is a power minus 1. Minus 1 is written as superscript. Superscript minus 1, does it not imply in algebra the reciprocal? In algebra, yes, any variable x power minus 1 is 1 by x, but it is not the case here. Okay, students, of course, you have studied the inverse functions. Inverse function, and you know inverse function is denoted by the letter f with minus 1 as superscript. We don't read it as f power minus 1, we read it as f inverse. So the inverse concept, okay, the letter, the representation power minus 1 does not imply the reciprocal. So note that it is not a reciprocal, it is simply a symbol which indicates it is the inverse matrix. Fine, let us proceed. B is inverse of A. If B is inverse of A, then it is also equally true that A is inverse of B. Okay, if AB equal BA equal to I, we understand A, B are mutually inverses of each other. And when I say inverse, you should understand that it is the multiplicative inverse. So which means in a matrix equation, okay, I can take A from LHS, okay, in a product form to the RHS in the form of inverse. Okay. For example, like A, B equals a matrix C. I want to find out what is B matrix. I can actually, AB is C. Let me pre-multiply by the matrix A inverse. Okay. So I do the same pre-multiply. Okay. Probably I am using this word pre-multiply for the first time. And the students are wondering what this all means. So there is definitely a difference between pre-multiply and post-multiply, because of the simple reason in matrices the product, the multiplication of matrices is not commutative. It's not commutative. So let us simply write like this: A inverse times A, B. You are maintaining the order in the LHS as it is. And because A inverse is multiplied ahead of A, same way A inverse multiplies C ahead of it on the right also. It is not C A inverse, it is A inverse C, because they both are different products. They will convey different matrices. Now I can say A inverse is I times B is, I have not done any operation on RHS, it is still A inverse C only. I times B, just now we saw it is an identity matrix. Any matrix multiplied by identity gives the self same matrix B. So B is A inverse C. So this way, whenever a product is available on LHS and I want to discover what is this matrix, I can discover it by means of taking this matrix to the RHS, just like you will do in the case of algebra. But the position matters, so it is pre-multiplied by A inverse. So this is the concept. So the location, the pre-multiply or the post-multiply, it does make sense. It alters the value of the product. Okay, so we are just making use. I am going to apply this concept and take a theorem now. We have already seen two theorems earlier, in the case of transpose of a matrix and the case of symmetric and skew symmetric. Fine. Theorem 3 states the inverse of a matrix is unique. I hope the students are able to make some meaning out of it. Meaning, inverse of a matrix is unique. When I say unique, what the students understand? It is just one only. There is a given matrix, its inverse is just always one only. There cannot be two inverses for the same given matrix. That is the idea. But we want to prove it. How will you prove? In boards, probably you can get it as a short answer, a very short answer question. Just prove the inverse of a matrix is unique. So how do we go about proving that? We know many times we adopt the strategy of what you call, okay, assuming, let the inverse, this is unique. I assume to the contrary, what happens if there are two inverses? Okay. So, let there be two inverses. Okay, one let it be B and another one C. Both are inverses of, we are assuming, okay, we are assuming both to be inverses of given matrix A. Two inverse B and C for one given matrix A. Okay, I am just going to follow the definition. Because B is the inverse, AB should give I, BA should also give I. isn't it? And I'm also assuming C as inverse, which means A multiplied with C, C multiplied with A, both of them also should give identity matrix I. By definition, this follows. Now what happens? Take this statement. Let us start with AC equal I. Then let me multiply, pre-multiply. Let us be very specific. Pre-multiply by B. So when I say pre-multiply by B, we are going to follow the same operation on LHS and RHS. So B times AC is I. And we know matrix multiplication is associative. Pre-multiplied by B, I and B multiplied together gets you the same answer, same matrix B. Okay, and B times A, that is already resulting from result 1. I know I can write it as I. C is B, and I times any matrix will give the same matrix, so C. So C equal to B, which means we assumed there are two inverses, but now we are proving the two inverses coincide with each other. So C is not another new inverse, it is same as B matrix, which is the original inverse. So both of them coincide, both B and C. So this proves, you can say hence proved, the inverse of A is unique. Okay, and now we have a theorem 4. I can say probably this is the last theorem in the chapter. Okay, the last theorem of the chapter, theorem number 4, states if you want to take the inverse of a product of two matrices, for example A, B, that's a product, I want to take the inverse of the entire product as a whole, then the answer becomes B inverse times A inverse. It is not in the same order, it is not A inverse and multiplied with B inverse, it is B inverse times of A inverse. This is also, it requires a proof. Let us go ahead. So we are going to apply the same kind of procedure, pre-multiply procedure, and as a result we will be able to come to this understanding. Well, how to start? Again, start from the definition. What does the definition say? A matrix multiplied by its inverse gives multiplicative identity. So I can put it this way: AB times of AB inverse gives identity. This is what we know from the definition of inverse. AB, take it as a singular entity, and its inverse, AB the whole inverse, multiplied gives identity matrix. Now let us start. Pre-multiply by A inverse. So whatever operation you are performing on LHS will be performed on RHS also. So when we say pre-multiply, it is simultaneously on both sides. So let us commit it. A inverse times of AB times of AB whole inverse, RHS pre-multiply by A inverse I. Done. Now again apply the associative property as you used to do, as you did in the previous case. I am going to use the associative nature. What is the result? I get A inverse A gets paired times B times AB whole inverse is A inverse times I. Now students can figure it out. A inverse of A is I times B, AB whole inverse, RHS there is no change, and I times B, identity matrix multiplying any matrix gives the same matrix, that is B here, times AB whole inverse is A inverse times I. Now students can make a guess what is to be done. Pre-multiply. Look at what you have to prove. I need AB whole inverse alone on LHS, whereas I have another matrix B present on LHS. I am trying to eliminate B. How can I just eliminate? So it is pre-multiply both sides by B inverse. So B inverse of B, AB whole inverse gives, or it is also pre-multiply, okay, B inverse A inverse I, and LHS B inverse times B is I matrix, okay, RHS B inverse A inverse times I, okay. I times any matrix gives the self same matrix, I times any matrix gives the self same matrix. So AB whole inverse is same as B inverse A inverse only. So this is proved. So AB whole inverse, it is B inverse times of A inverse. So these are very what you call I can say the students will have to conceptually understand, because there can be MCQs prepared based on this concept. There can be very short questions, or there can be a long answer question asking you to verify whether AB whole inverse is B inverse times A inverse. So all sorts of questions possible based on this concept. Please try to understand. I will meet you in the next session with the row operation. Thank you, students.